Kia ora, good morning and welcome to Ryan Bridge today. It is Monday the 16th of February. Coming up on the show this hour, thousands of people are without power this morning. Towns are cut off, flights cancelled in and out of the capital. Wild weather is battering the central North Island. We'll speak to the Emergency Management Minister, Mark Mitchell. He'll be with us live from Manawatu in 5 minutes' time. A huge win for Eden Park has just been announced, is being announced, I should say. More concerts, later starts for cricket. And what about the state of origin? Nick Sauntner, the boss of Eden Park, joins us after 8, and we'll speak to Graham Lowe, league legend, in about 10 minutes' time. The Golden Visa is coming up golden. Queenstown's largest hospitality group's been sold to an overseas company for more than $40 million, and the government's active investor visas seem to have been a big driver here. Erica Stanford joins me live in studio in just a few moments' time. Plus, we'll speak to former NZ boss, now supermarket boss in America, Greg Foran. He's here before 7:30 as well. So much more to come. A quick update on the weather for you. This is an idea of what it looks like from Lyall Bay this morning in Wellington. This is a Lyall Bay surf club. If you've been there, you know it's a beautiful little spot. Usually a lot of wild weather happening in the capital this morning. Flights in and out are cancelled. In fact, that's the reason. Erica Stanford will be with me here in the studio. Her flight cancelled. Many ministers trying to get into Wellington, their flights would have been affected this morning, as well as thousands of other travellers. Now, the other thing you need to know about Wellington is the winds have been very, very fierce. And I don't just mean Wellington wind, I mean very strong gale force winds this morning, toppling trees. Several major roads further north, including parts of State Highway 1, have been closed. There are thousands of homes without power. Trains here in the capital and Cook Strait ferry crossings have also been cancelled. Multiple severe weather warnings remain in place across the North Island and Upper South Island this morning. The Manawatu, Rangatike and Ruapehu districts north of Fielding and east of State Highway 1 remain under a red heavy rain warning. We'll hear from Met Service shortly on that. This is in Taihape. This is near Taupō. And you can see the damage that the wind has been causing here across much of the central North Island overnight. We're just bringing you these pictures to our newsroom as we get them. Obviously, crews are working hard to clear the roads so that people can get to work this morning, all that sort of stuff. At the moment, the advice is to only travel in these areas if absolutely necessary. This is Otorohanga. This, of course, damaged from the weekend's storm. This, I think, is the picture we're about to see of the ute that went down. Terrible. So, yeah, a lot of wild weather today. We'll keep you across that, and Mark Mitchell will be with us in just a few moments. We are going to head to Eden Park very shortly as well, but that's for the announcement on their the government's changes to regulations about Eden Park and how many concerts they can have, that sort of thing. First, we will check in with Met Service to get a weather update across the country.
Now weather.
It's been incredibly windy and incredibly wet across parts of New Zealand overnight thanks to this low pressure system. It stays close by as we head through Monday, sinking southwards, pushing that rain further in towards Canterbury. We will start to find a clearance to the north, but we've still got plenty of strong winds and heavy rainfall as we head through the rest of Monday. Heavy rainfall warnings in place across many parts of these eastern areas, including that red heavy rainfall warning through Manawatu and up towards Taihape. And we'll keep hold of some strong wind warnings and watches as we head through at least the morning time, places like Tairafti. As we head down towards the south, some of the best weather down towards Fjord and elsewhere, generally turning cloudier with that rain sinking southwards. Heavy rainfall warnings and watches kick in from Canterbury and up towards Marlborough. Heavy rain and stronger winds down that western coast as well. More winds to come for Wellington and that rainfall pushing in through Wairarapa and feeding around towards parts of inland Manawatu and Whanganui. Those red heavy rainfall warnings still with us. And it's a windy, wet start here in Hawke's Bay as well. Gusts perhaps 120, 130 kilometres an hour in the most exposed areas. Gradually getting better though as we head through the afternoon. Up here in the north, well, some of the best weather through the daytime. The skies should start to clear and the winds easing off, and some of the better, brighter weather for Northland.
You're watching Herald Now this morning. Great to have your company. And for our viewers on 3 now, just gone 4 minutes after 7. So we are going to head live to Eden Park. You can see them setting up for a shot here. This is going to be an announcement from the Prime Minister and Mayor Wayne Brown this morning, which you would have to say indicates it will be relatively significant. What I can tell you already about this announcement at Eden Park is that they are going to be allowed to do more concerts on any night of the week without needing a resource consent. So that'll be great news, and Nick Sautner will no doubt be very happy with that. We'll speak to him after 8 o'clock this morning and return when the press conference gets underway with the Mayor and the Prime Minister. I think they're allowed up to 12 concerts per year at the moment. That number will increase to 12 large plus 20 medium-sized concerts at Eden Park. Sorry, Helen Clark. Also this morning, we are expecting them to announce the state of origin. Well, I mean, there's sort of rumours that they will announce the state of origin, that it'll be hosted here in Auckland and at Eden Park specifically. So we'll come back here as soon as we have more for you from the press conference. We're just waiting for it to start. And we'll get to Mark Mitchell in a little while as well. Just to those who didn't catch the weekend sailing action, full credit to Tom Slingsby and the Aussies on their victory over the weekend. Obviously, it didn't hurt that the Black Foils and Burling and the French crashed out of it. It was a brutal crash to watch as well. I was at the racing on Saturday in the grandstand. You get a real sense, being that close to it, of just how fast these boats are going and how close to one another that they get. And that's what makes it such a thrilling thing to watch. You're not meant to say it, but everybody there on Saturday was as hyped about the near misses and the close calls as they were about the results in the actual racing. And I guess that's human nature, right? You can't look away from a car crash. It's the same reason the UFC is nipping at the heels of boxing, and Run It Straight is now a thing that people watch and actually get paid for. We like the excitement of somebody possibly getting hurt or injured. Throw in the fact these athletes are taking the risks, hopefully calculated ones, and coming out victorious, and you have yourself an afternoon of entertainment. There's skill, there's talent, there's technology involved, of course there is, but you wouldn't turn up to watch the Sail GP boat race itself, would you? The question is whether people will still be thrilled by the split fleet format with fewer boats jostling for position, which is a move that was apparently on the cards anyway. And if this is the first of many safety improvements, how different will the competition look and feel? Look at what happened to rugby union when safety and clipboards overtook entertainment. If you don't give people action, they find somewhere else to go. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying I want crashes galore and let's throw caution to the wind and create the equivalent of bumper cars on water, but it must surely be something that the organisers will be thinking about and weighing up. I hope Lewis Sinclair I should say, and the French sailor are recovering well in hospital for their injuries. As for Peter Burling, did he push it too far? This is the question everyone was asking on Saturday. Did he go too far? If he had executed the exact same race and won without crashing, nobody would be complaining, would they? But that's the thing. This competition is about fractions of technology or weather or conditions that make a big difference. There's talk his rudder may have failed him as well. We're yet to get to the bottom of it completely. Nobody wins playing safe, and people don't watch sport for its safety features. But at the same time, to win a race, you've actually got to finish it, don't you? And that's the problem that Burling has now encountered. Time is 7 minutes after 7. Right, let's go to the Emergency Management Minister, Mark Mitchell, who is with us live this morning. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
You're in Wairoa this morning. Good to have you with us. What's the situation like there, and what have you been updated on across the country?
It's pretty good in Wairoa. So the report that I had yesterday morning showed that the risk was Wairoa and Hawke's Bay would be hit pretty hard overnight, but that weather system kind of moved and came around the bottom of the North Island and came up the centre. And so it's actually been Manawatu that's caught the brunt of it. They announced a state of emergency yesterday, absolutely the right thing to do, pre-position and get ready for that. Overnight, there was 8 evacuations in Palmerston North, and of course with First Light now, grounds will be out on the teams will be out on the ground assessing what damage there is.
Those evacuations you talked about, were they like preventative, or did people have to be rescued?
No, they were preventative. They were just making sure that houses that may have been at risk with flooding, inundation, the occupants were moved.
Looks like we might have lost the minister there. Minister, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can. Yep.
We had some technical problems, I think, for a second there. So flooding in Manawatu, we've got preventative evacuations there. What about Wellington? We're hearing that the wind was, I mean, even by Wellington standards, was howling last night and trees down, stuff like that. What are you hearing?
They got hit hard with the wind overnight with trees and fences, etc. down. Again, the rail network has been closed as a precaution this morning so they can actually check that and make sure it hasn't been impacted by the weather. Yes, Wellington did get hit relatively hard. They did get hit with that weather system as it came back up the North Island, centre of the North Island.
It just feels like it doesn't stop lately, Minister.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, we're in the midst of a recovery after the last weather event that came through. There's nothing we can do about the weather. We just got to make sure that we're well prepared. We're very lucky in our country. We've got a great emergency management ecosystem right through, from our communities that respond, rural trust groups, iwi and hapu, right through to our world-class first responders and mayors, councils and CDM teams. So, and my own agency, NEMA, who I don't always give a shout out to, but I want to acknowledge because they've been working flat out over the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing a great job too. Minister, really appreciate your time this morning. Take care out there and we'll check in later if we need to. That's the Emergency Management Minister, Mark Mitchell in Wairoa for us this morning. Just gone 10 after 7. We are returning now to Eden Park where the Prime Minister is announcing that the State of Origin is heading to Auckland, to Eden Park next year.
And also our fantastic Minister for Auckland, Simeon Brown. Nick, can I say thank you for your partnership as well. Nick Saltner, the CEO of Eden Park, is a real go-getter and we just love the way that we've been able to work with you to reduce the restrictions around Eden Park and also with the council in order to be able to secure an event like this. It's been really very special. We are super excited to be hosting State of Origin here in New Zealand. For many of us, kids like me, we grew up in the 80s and 90s watching some absolutely fantastic battles. We remember those heroes even today, of those great players that we got to watch on TV. And Mum and Dad would let us stay up late and watch it, and it was absolutely fantastic. So we are very excited, and securing a game like this here is a very significant moment for rugby league in New Zealand. It's going to inspire our young players, and it's going to help to grow the game nationally. It's also a huge win for our local economy, and it's going to help put New Zealand on the map as a world-class destination for major events. And major events like this bring huge benefits to our cities, supporting local businesses, creating jobs, and of course, strengthening our economy. And that's why our government has had such a big push on to make sure that we attract more major events here and attract more international visitors to our shores. Part of how we do that is through investments like Louisa's Major Events Fund, which has had a significant contribution to bringing the event here, alongside funding from the Mayor and Auckland Council. But it's also through making sure that we fix the settings to unlock more opportunities for major events. And as I said before, we've released the restrictions at Eden Park, which make it much easier to host a game like this and more major events like it into the future. Under our new settings, nighttime sports games will be permitted at Eden Park on any day, including Sundays, and existing caps on the number of night games per year will be removed. Eden Park will also be able to host up to 12 large concerts and 20 medium-sized concerts per year without needing resource consent, and that's a total limit of 32 concerts per year, up from the current 12. The common sense changes, they're going to kick in on April this year and enable Eden Park to operate like a modern, world-class national stadium and deliver more jobs and economic benefits for Auckland and beyond. But in the meantime, the 2026 NRL season has already kicked off with the NRL All-Stars game held in Hamilton just yesterday and over the weekend, also supported by the government's Major Events Fund. New Zealand, as you know, has a very large and growing rugby league community, and I know there's going to be a lot of very, very excited Kiwis today. Can I say once again thank you to all the partners on this, the NRL and also Auckland Council, and I'll now pass over to Mayor Brown to say a few words as well. Thanks everybody.
This morning, the Prime Minister has just confirmed the news that everyone kind of knew was going to come anyway, that State of Origin is heading to Eden Park. It's coming next year. This is fantastic news for rugby league fans. It's fantastic news for Auckland. Anyone who was around the city of Sales at the weekend would have seen the bars were full, the restaurants were full. The viaduct was packed, Ponsonby Road was packed. People were having a fantastic time. So great news for business, great news for the CBD, which we all know desperately needs it. There'll be more Aussie tourists heading to Auckland next year. Let's go to Sir Graham Lowe now. Sir Graham celebrated as the first non-Australian to coach in the State of Origin, of course. Good friend of the show. Lowe, nice to see you. How are you feeling this morning?
Oh, really excited. I think this is fantastic news the Prime Minister has just given us all. State of Origin is, honestly, I'm not exaggerating at all, Ryan. It is an event that is going to put Eden Park, it's going to allow Eden Park to show something that's so exciting. We've had a lot of exciting events at Eden Park over the years, but nothing will match what State of Origin delivers. Even though this is an Australian thing, it's very, very special. It's world class. It's unique with what it actually does and has delivered since 1980.
What was it like winning it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. One of the things the Premier at the time, Wayne Goss, in the official function after winning it, and they made me an honorary Queenslander, which I think I'm the only one. But after winning it, he said, any establishment in Queensland found charging Graham Lowe for a Forex will immediately lose their licence. That's what it meant.
Brilliant. Lowe, you said it's going to be game-changing for Auckland. What do we need to do to make sure that we capitalise on this, that we make the most of it?
I think people, the buzz will, as it gets closer, it'll build up. But I think we've got to turn up and be there. I mean, this is a privilege to have this game here, and I actually never thought it would happen, to tell the truth. But it is a privilege. I think the government's done a fantastic job behind the scenes there, and Brownie's been involved as well, I'm sure. But this is something that we have to grasp and show that we can do it over here as well, because it could lead to all sorts of things, Ryan. It's bigger than Ben-Hur.
Why do they tour it? My understanding is they haven't actually been overseas since the 80s or early 90s with this. It's been in different states of Australia, but within Australia. Do they tour it because we pay them money, or does it give the sport exposure, or a bit of both?
You're dealing with Australians, there's money being paid, don't worry about that.
But also,
those blokes.
What's that?
They wouldn't shout of a shark, but those blokes.
Lowe, do you think that, in terms of the profile it'll give rugby league here in New Zealand as well? I mean, even that kind of rubbing off.
Oh, yeah, without any doubt. I mean, the Warriors, I know they haven't got the main prize yet, but the Warriors have changed. They've really changed the psyche of sport here in New Zealand. They've done a fantastic job. Week in, week out, and really captured the public's imagination. The ground's probably sold out for this year already, so that's very unusual with sport here in New Zealand. And really, the State of Origin is the jewel in the crown of Australian sport.
And you're a jewel in the crown of New Zealand, Sir Graham. Great to have you on the program this morning. Excellent news all round. Thanks very much for being with us.
And don't forget this. Don't forget Queensland. That's what Auckland can be, Queenslanders.
I don't know if we quite want to be Queenslanders, but certainly we want to be as rich as them. I appreciate it, Lowe. Thank you. Sir Graham Lowe, league legend with us this morning, friend of our program. It's just gone 18 minutes after 7. Coming up next, we're going to Greg Foran. You'll know him as the former Air New Zealand boss. He's now running a big supermarket chain. He used to run Walmart in America. He's now taken on the role as chief executive of Walmart's rival, and a big turnaround plan is on the cards for him. Actually, as soon as he was announced, Greg Foran, as the new CEO, their share price jumped 6%. So that's the kind of reputation he has over there in the supermarket world. So we'll talk to him from Cincinnati in just a few moments. And then Erica Stanford, who's Minister of Education, obviously, and Immigration, is here at the desk to talk about that new visa and the really, really rich people who are coming here to invest. All ahead on Ryan Bridge today.
Stop paying the waiting tax. The money you could miss out on by delaying the start of your investment journey. Up your tempo with Tempo, the guided investment app that helps you get started. Don't delay because you don't think you have enough time, money, or know-how. All you need is a goal, and our guidance will help with the rest. You can do it. We can help. Here's how. Download Tempo now.
Old school hip hop and R&B. Flavor.
Here she is. How's the business going?
Good, actually. We just switched to 2 degrees. Well, we tested the networks and couldn't see any difference, but 2 degrees has the most satisfied customers. With Flex, we get instant control of phone plans, data usage, and cost center reporting. And they're the fastest growing business network.
Can I have what she's having?
Ready?
One Roof Property. Love where you live.
The New Zealand Herald. News worth knowing.
Welcome back. It is 7:20 this morning. We'll get to Erica Stanford shortly. Just to give you an idea of how strong the wind is in Wellington this morning, 193 kilometres an hour. This is at the top of Mount Coco, for those who know Wellington well. That is the third strongest, third fastest wind speed since records began in 1994. So basically it's bloody windy in Wellington this morning. They're used to a bit of wind, but this is quite exceptional. 21 after 7 now. From leading Walmart to running Air New Zealand and now CEO of American supermarket chain Kroger, Kiwi Greg Foran is certainly a high flyer after departing our national carrier in October. He's now in the US, heading up one of the country's largest retail chains. Greg Foran joins us now from Kroger HQ in Cincinnati in the US. Greg, nice to have you on the program. Welcome.
Good to see you, Ryan. And I hear it's a bit windy in New Zealand at the moment. It's just a bit wet in Cincinnati.
Yeah, weather's not great. This must mean you're in at work on a Sunday. Are you getting started on your job already and your turnaround plan for Kroger?
Oh, look, I started last Tuesday. I flew over Monday night on Air New Zealand, had a great flight over, and then was down in Cincinnati Monday night and in the office, up and running Tuesday, off to Dallas Tuesday night. I was in Chicago yesterday, and yep, we're into it, Ryan.
Tell us a bit about the company. How big is it? How significant a player is it compared to where you used to be at Walmart?
Yeah, look, it is big. It's a supermarket business. Walmart, of course, sells general merchandise and food. So Kroger operates about 2,700 stores. It's in many states, but not every state of America. Employees about 409,000 people, headquartered out of Cincinnati. But here's a fun fact. It's been operating, Ryan, since 1883. So it's got a deep, rich history, and I'm very, very proud to be working for them and with them, and really looking forward to getting stuck in.
And they're obviously excited to have you there. I note that the share market had jumped, I think, 6% on news that you were coming. So there's obviously appetite for change. What is the plan? What is the goal?
Well, a bit early for me to lay it out on day 5, but obviously I have a hypothesis. And as you can imagine, it's going to be a combination of building on the core and then doing whatever we need to get into the digital space. The company is already in a number of these areas and is doing a good job, and my job is now to enhance it and go further and faster. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I think it's a wonderful challenge, a wonderful group of people, and I couldn't have had a better first week.
Looking back at New Zealand from a distance now, Air New Zealand obviously is having some issues and has had some issues with the engines for a while. They've now got staffing issues with strikes, etc. As an airline, do you worry about the reputation that it has at the moment? Not so much internationally, but just at home.
I don't, Ryan, and you know what I would say to you is the same as what I've said actually previously and to other people. These things pass, and you know the important thing in any business, whether it's Kroger or whether it's here in New Zealand, is to adopt a long-term approach and do the right thing by your customers and by your staff, by the communities. Now, often not all of those things, work together. Sometimes you have to give a bit on one and take a bit off others. But look, I can assure you that Air New Zealand is in great shape. The engines will pass. You often have negotiations with your associates. Sometimes they work well and sometimes they don't, but they pass. What I can tell you is I've spent the last 3.5 months traveling to a lot of places, and I've been on a lot of airlines, and whenever I get on an Air New Zealand plane, and I was on one a week ago, we do a very good job. So lots of confidence.
Is it true, Greg? I read this at the weekend that you get your own private plane with this new gig?
Look, America is a big place. And, yesterday I was out in stores in Chicago. So, yes, I did jump on one of the Kroger planes. And that's how we got there. But the great thing is we were out Valentine's Day. I got into stores. I met a number of our wonderful associates. Do you know what, Ryan? I even came across some fantastic New Zealand product. You'd be pleased to know that
Greg,
taking pride of place on the shelves is butter from New Zealand.
Really?
Plenty of wine. Yeah.
How much was the butter?
I can't remember. But Greg, I can tell you, it's bound to be a great price at Kroger.
You don't need to be embarrassed about a private jet. They're very common in America, and if I had access to one, I would be using it all the time. So do not shy away from that. Hey, just before you go...
I'm not embarrassed about it. I can tell you I couldn't do my job without it, Ryan.
Yeah. Fair enough. It's a big place. I mean, it's not like New Zealand, is it? Just before you go, I just want to say thank you for coming on the program as always. But thank you for coming on the show for all of the times when it was a bit tough at Air New Zealand. We have had CEOs, I've dealt with CEOs in the past who, when the going gets tough, they don't front up, and you're always one to do that. So thank you very much for doing so.
My pleasure. Thank you, and all the best.
It's Greg Foran, who's the Chief Executive now at Kroger, in at the office on a Sunday getting the job done. Now, if you've got anything to say about our topics this morning, we are flying by the seat of our pants a little bit this morning. We've got some breaking news happening, obviously, in Wellington, also in Auckland. Flick us an email, ryan@nzherald.co.nz. Queenstown's biggest hospitality group has been sold to a global asset manager for more than $40 million in a move that's tied to the government's push to attract high-value investors into the country. Officials say the deal is proof that the revamped Golden Visa scheme is delivering, with a new fund to boot. Erica Stanford is the Immigration Minister, also Education, joins us live this morning. Minister, good morning.
Good morning.
So, what role did this new fund, play in this deal?
There's a fund called MA Financial, and they are one of the approved funds under the Active Investor Plus program. I just met with them the other day, actually, and they are inviting and making deals with active investors, so investors from all over the world who are interested in coming to New Zealand, putting their money into this fund, and they're investing in these these opportunities in Queenstown. So I don't have all of the details, but it's great for Queenstown, it's great for New Zealand.
So this is a group, and they get lots of individual investors together.
Yep.
Who then purchase a company in New Zealand, and then that gives them access to the visa to build here or buy here.
They invest. So it's a fund that decides what kind of investments it's going to make. So predominantly about 60% of the funds that are coming in through these active investors are going into managed funds. Those managed funds will make investments into tech companies, into hospitality companies, as you've seen, into a range of different things. And there's more and more of these funds coming on board every single day.
And who gets the visas?
The visas are received by the wealthy, predominantly Americans at the moment, who have to invest a minimum of either $5 or $10 million
into the fund.
Into the fund,
right?
That then gets deployed, and we give them a resident visa, and then we track very carefully what happens to them after their initial investment. So we have a program set up whereby we go back and look at how much they invest after that, because that's just the start. These are phenomenal people who've done phenomenal things. And not only do they have access to a huge amount of capital, they have access to contacts around the world, knowledge. They've set up companies, they've sold companies, and it's that knowledge that is so crucial for New Zealand companies, helping take us to the next step. So it's part of our broad, really smart immigration policy.
It's on the face of it a fantastic policy because of the numbers that you're already seeing. But I'm interested in this. So I sort of thought it would be investors directly investing into New Zealand companies. But do you think most of it will actually happen through these types of vehicles?
We're seeing it shift. So it's only very early days. It only opened in April, and we're still seeing the market maturing. Predominantly, most of the investment into business through venture capital and private equity is being done through these funds. That's the vehicle. It goes into the fund. And predominantly that's because you've got to remember these Americans and Germans and others, they don't know our market. They don't have connections with direct businesses. So we're only finding at the moment about 2% of the total is going directly from investor into business. It is going from predominantly into funds, then into venture capital startups, and then into private equity.
Does that mean they're a bit more hands-off though? Does that mean that all of the benefits that you talked about of their knowledge and experience rubbing off on us, does that
get diluted? No, not at all. I mean, firstly, the fund managers are putting in touch these investors with companies, so we're getting that connection. But also what we're finding is that it is very hard for these people to get to know the market, and so this is just them starting their journey. I've had dinner with many of them who are thinking about coming to New Zealand, and it's really interesting that once they get here, they've got their initial investment in, then they get excited. They start meeting Kiwi businesses, Kiwi startups, and they're just like, in fact, I heard this the other night. They said to me, this is like America was years and years and years ago when things were exciting. There's amazing opportunities, incredible people. We've got the most amazing tech startup guys in this country, and they're just starting to make connections. That's why what I said earlier is important, that we watch what their behaviour is after their initial investment. Their initial investment's only $5 million. That is the tip of the iceberg. They come in and spend hundreds of millions more after that initial investment, but we've never really tracked it properly until now.
Why? I mean, because obviously you've come and changed the rules for a long time. We had a similar scheme, but no one was really picking it up. Is it literally the change in the rules that sparked this? Or are they going, well, Trump's a bit cooked, like America's a bit cooked, we're keen to get somewhere else? Or is it a bit of both?
It is a bit of both. I'd love to take all of the credit for it, to change the visa program, but it is, of course, a bit of both. But we had the same settings back in 2020 after COVID. We had this country everyone wanted to come to, but our visa settings weren't right, so we missed the window. We've got another window now where the world is a very unstable place, and we have the settings right. And so now you can see this explosion in people, very wealthy, very talented people who love our country, wanting to come to New Zealand. And, I thought we might get 200 applicants in our first year. We're already up to 570, and it's not even a year up till April.
Which means we've got $1 billion committed.
Yep.
And we have 3.39 billion potentially as the minimum investment from all those applications. Is that correct?
Yeah, so over $3 billion is the total. $1 billion's already been invested. $2 billion is sitting in the pipeline, with much of that to be deployed over the next 6 months.
I mean, that's magic. If you look at the $1 billion a year that we could get from this trade deal with India, which is a big score, this is money for jam, isn't it?
It is really exciting. And the companies that I've gone to see, the first thing they do is hire more people. And they are high-paid, high-skilled jobs. I was in Hector just last week making this announcement. They're hiring more people. Seaflux, we were in last year, they're hiring more people. There's a company called Symphony who do insurance technology. They have doubled their staff. They're opening a new office in Auckland Central. So there's just these stories everywhere, and we'll be telling these stories over this year because it means higher paid jobs for New Zealand. It's improving our exports, and in the long run, it's improving our productivity and wealth as a country.
Good. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you about this, but that's just life. Chris Hipkins has said this is on the free trade agreement with India.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw his comments.
Of course.
Yeah. So we know that the current government has already weakened the safeguards for migrant workers by increasing allowable student work hours and broadening institutional eligibility. They're worried about our education institutions and their reputation, and they're also worried about migrant worker abuse and student worker abuse. What do you say to that?
I'm worried about exactly those things, and I think the things that they've asked are totally reasonable. And in the last 2 years, I have tightened up massively on migrant exploitation.
They said you're weakened.
No, well, that's not true at all. We're taking a very cautious approach to do one thing, which is to grow our exports when it comes to international education, because it's a big earner for us. But we need to do it in a careful, planned and staged way. There is nothing that I have done over the last 2 years that is going to bring our institutions into disrepute. We have focused on high value students who are coming into universities doing postgraduate degrees, who are exactly the kinds of people we need to grow our economy. We've been very careful and cautious in the sub-degree market, which is where we had all of our problems in the past. We've kept that really locked down. So I share their concerns, but I would say to you, over the last 2 years, I have run a very smart, very careful, very cautious immigration system that is delivering for New Zealanders, which is why you're not seeing the levels of migrant exploitation you saw when I came into office.
So, given that, you think what they're asking is reasonable, we can make this work, let's get the deal
100%.
done.
Most of the things they raised in their letter, I completely agree with, and there's a huge amount of room for us to negotiate there. I'd say most of the things they're talking about I've already done or am planning to do.
All right.
So,
okay, we'll see where we get to. Minister, great to have you in the studio as well. You were meant to be with us via Zoom, but the plane's been cancelled.
got cancelled last night, it's been cancelled again this morning, so I'm
So what happens to Cabinet? Do you Zoom in?
probably.
All right, sounds fun. Enjoy. Erica Stanford, Immigration Minister. Time is 25 away from 8, and we can now bring you a news bulletin.
Herald Now News, powered by News Talk ZB.
Wild weather is continuing to affect many parts of the country. Tens of thousands of people are without power, multiple highways are closed, and flights, Wellington trains and Cook Strait ferry sailings are impacted. Manawatu, Wanganui, Otorohanga and Waipa remain under states of emergency. Manawatu, Rangitike and Ruapehu are under a red heavy rain warning. Met Service says we're going to see big impacts across a wide area, including central, eastern and southern parts of the North Island. Eden Park is set to host New Zealand's first ever State of Origin match next year. It's also set to host more concerts. The government's confirmed the Auckland Stadium will host the game with support from the government's Major Events Fund and Auckland Council event. It expects more than 10,000 Australians will come here for the game, and the government's also confirmed changes, allowing the stadium to hold 12 large and 20 medium-sized concerts a year, with no restrictions on the days they can be held. Wellington's mayor says Wellington Water needs to focus on fixing the Moore Point sewage treatment plant as it loses its chair. Nick Leggett has resigned after the catastrophic failure at the site, which is expected to take months to fix. Andrew Little says it was the right thing to do. A public meeting will be held on the Moore Point crisis in Wellington tonight. David Seymour's radical approach to shrinking the government hasn't gone down well with the largest trade union. The ACT leader wants to cut the number of ministers to 20 and consolidate the public service into no more than 30 departments. He says there are still too many agencies and says each minister should be in charge of just one portfolio. Public Service Association National Secretary Fleur Fitzsimon says he's playing attempted populism. The growth in food prices has moderated slightly, but it might not stay that way. The Infometrics Grocery Supplier Cost Index was 2.3% higher in January compared to the same time last year. That growth is slightly slower than December 2025. Principal economist Brad Olson says many products have been under a summer moratorium, which means they haven't increased in price. And he says the jury's still out on whether this trend will continue. Olson says cost pressures on producers like electricity are increasing. A win for the marine life in Whangaparoa's rock pools north of Auckland. From March 12, there will be a 2-year ban on the taking of a range of invertebrate and seaweed species. Some days up to 200 people can be seen stripping the pools, gathering everything from starfish to sea cucumbers.
Herald Now Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott and Dane Menzies have topped the women's and men's snowboard slopestyle qualifiers ahead of finals on Wednesday and Thursday respectively. Alice Robinson finished 8th in the giant slalom. The biggest game in cricket finance is over at the T20 World Cup in Colombo. India have beaten Pakistan by 61 runs. Mealy Kerr is the new captain of the White Ferns, and France have beaten Wales 54-12 at Cardiff to top the Six Nations rugby standings.
Herald Now weather.
It's been incredibly windy and incredibly wet across parts of New Zealand overnight thanks to this low pressure system. It stays close by as we head through Monday, sinking southwards, pushing that rain further in towards Canterbury. We will start to find a clearance to the north, but we've still got plenty of strong winds and heavy rainfall as we head through the rest of Monday. Heavy rainfall warnings in place across many parts of these eastern areas, including that red heavy rainfall warning through Manawatu and up towards Taihape. And we'll keep hold of some strong wind warnings and watches as we head through at least the morning time, places like Tairafti. As we head down towards the south, some of the best weather down towards Fjord and elsewhere, generally turning cloudier with that rain sinking southwards. Heavy rainfall warnings and watches kick in from Canterbury and up towards Marlborough. Heavy rain and stronger winds down that western coast as well. More winds to come for Wellington and that rainfall pushing in through Wairapa and feeding around towards parts of inland Manawatu and Whanganui. Those red heavy rainfall warnings still with us. And it's a windy, wet start here in Hawke's Bay as well. Gusts perhaps 120, 130 kilometres an hour in the most exposed areas. Gradually getting better though as we head through the afternoon. Up here in the north, well, some of the best weather through the daytime. The skies should start to clear and the winds easing off, and some of the better, brighter weather for Northland.
Right, time now is 20 minutes away from 8. We'll get to Garthbray with business in just a second. First, more on that storm that's been smashing the central North Island this morning. We're joined by our reporter Mike Scott, who's in Manawatu. Mike, good morning. Good to have you here. What can you tell us about the damage where you are, the effects where you are?
Well, right now, Ryan, I'm stuck in Ohanaiti, which is just south of Taihape because the road's closed due to all the trees that are down around here. I'm actually hemmed in. I know I can't go north and I can't go south because there's trees down both ways.
How did you end up in Ohanaiti?
Kind of damage.
Sorry.
Well, I got through from Taihape. I carried on, and then I came across some motorists trying to clear the road of trees, which I took photos of and video, and then I came back to Ohanaiti, and that was it. I knew that I couldn't go either way, so yeah, I had to sleep in my car actually.
You slept in your car, Mike. You poor thing.
Well, I had no option, and I'm not the only one. If you look down here, you can see a whole lot of trucks and cars. There was quite a number of people, and I talked to one chap, and he was trying to get to Auckland to pick up his family who have been stuck in Auckland because the flights have been cancelled for the last 2 days. So he had to also sleep in his car.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of wind there as well still. What did you, last night when you were sleeping, lots of rain or wind or a bit of both?
So last night it was torrential rain. It was really coming down. The wind was there for sure, but probably from about 4 o'clock this morning, it's the wind that's just really kicked in. It's quite fierce, and I'm not surprised that when I went back up the road or down south, there's really big trees down on the road. So it's going to take some time to clear that.
We saw in your pictures that you sent us earlier that they are starting to try and do that. Have you spoken to anyone there? Have they got any idea of how long it might take or when they might have the roads reopened?
No, it's kind of unsure because there's more trees that are actually coming down. It's not like these winds have stopped. There's probably going to be more damage during the day, and it's forecast to carry on like this, through to 3 p.m. or so. So it's a little bit unknown, to be honest. I'm not even sure when I'm going to be able to get away from here.
Give us an idea, Ohanaiti, how far it is. You said it's near Taihape. How far are you?
I'll begin just an estimate. It's about 10 k's south. So I'm between Taihape and I think it's Herbertville. I'm probably still 40 k's from Fielding at the moment.
Mike, we'll leave you there. Thanks for the update. Go and get back in the car and try and keep yourself warm if you can.
Yeah, well, Thanks very much.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna buy you some beer when you come back. I didn't realise he slept in his car last night. That's terrible. But as Mike said, there are many people doing that in Ohangaiti and around Taihape, that area, central North Island, because of that bad weather overnight. That's our reporter and camera operator, Mike Scott, this morning. Right, we'll go to business now, thanks to our partners, Forsyth Bar. We've got more detail on the sale of Fonterra's brands today, including some extra capital the French buyer plans to inject into our economy, which is more welcome news. Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business, is with me. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan. Yeah, some great information there that surfaced in the overseas investment decision, basically, on this one, which Riley Kennedy over at Business Desk dug out there. Basically, on top of the sort of $4.22 billion purchase price that was agreed for this to buy some pretty established brands and the operations here and in Australia, there's a commitment from Lactalis, which is the biggest dairy company in the world, I think 85,000 employees, to put an extra $100 million worth of capital into the New Zealand operations of mainland, so not the Aussie ones, as it sort of integrates it into its wider kind of operation. No timeline on that, or there is, but it was redacted. Obviously, it's a little bit commercially sensitive. And a comment in there that the company says it needs a sound understanding of mainland's requirements before it gets too specific about what's going on. So would it be into the plant that's in near Papakura in Auckland, or is it another one further south or whatever? Where exactly they're going to spend it, how they're going to spend it, not clear, but pretty decent chunk of change on top of the capital return that the shareholders will vote most likely to accept and put through on Thursday this week.
Thursday this week is when we get it.
For the vote, and then the deal's going to be done and payments and all that kind of stuff, probably in this first quarter is what Fonterra has said, so by the end of next month.
So does that mean, when do the farmers get the payment? Because I know that Fonterra's keeping $1 billion of it, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the money they'll get?
I think it's within about 5 days of the deal, of that happening. So it could, we're 6 weeks away or so.
New tractor time.
Yeah, well, all
hopefully.
That sort of stuff. Yeah.
All paying off debt.
No national interest assessment was mentioned. Nicola Willis had the option to call it in for a national interest assessment.
She said no.
Hasn't responded to requests about whether she thought about it. So maybe that's one to ask her next time she's there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, talking of investment commitments, are we any clearer? So there's 3 problems Labor has with this FTA with India. Education, I think they'll deal with. The other one was migrant workers. I think they'll deal with that. We heard Erica Stanford this morning. But it's this investment thing.
Yeah, which is big. 20 billion US, 33 billion New Zealand dollars over 15 years. Is New Zealand's government supposed to promote that or facilitate it? And that's a language discrepancy that you'd argue about. The Indian version seems to suggest it's more about a firmer commitment to actually facilitate that. And that's in line with some other agreements that's signed with a group of countries, including Ireland, Norway, Switzerland and Liechtenstein, which actually do have governments that sort of get behind particular investments. The argument, I suppose, from here has been, I think Todd McClay was up on media over this on the weekend, explaining, no, we're promoting it.
Yeah, and it's a target. It's a target. It's not a hard and fast.
It's a big target if you consider that from the digging on this that Dilipa Fonseca's done at Business Desk, we've put something like $88 million worth of foreign direct investment into India from New Zealand in the last 25 years. 88 million? 33 billion.
Yes.
She's a big leap.
She's a big leap. And it's more than we invested into China in the 15 years after we did an FTA with them, and that included dairy.
So what do we do if we're falling short? There's a lot of argument about, what's the mechanism for resolving that? And I guess just the point there being that we've got a different kind of arrangement potentially with them, but it sounds like some of those details are still being hammered.
Yeah, we need to know. We need to know what.
Well, we need to know, because if you're a business that's getting, building, you're making decisions about, hey, let's do business with them on the basis of this deal, and then suddenly the rug gets pulled because we haven't done the investment side of things. Someone else hasn't invested enough, and your market dries up. That's not flash.
Hey, very quickly, RBNZ, we got a decision from the Monetary Policy Committee on Wednesday.
Yeah,
probably hold.
Yeah, but I suppose it's just, are they going to? If you're driving, you're learning how to drive, you cover the brake, you cover the accelerator, depending on what you're coming up to. They're probably going to shift the foot from covering the accelerator to covering the brake, saying in the future we might tighten a bit quicker, but it's a question of how they word that and frame that so that longer range interest rates don't soar up too quickly. But definitely some signs that inflation's at the sticky top end of that range at the moment.
All right, Garth, good to see you as always. Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business. We talk business every day thanks to our partners Forsyth Bar. It is 12 away from 8. Christchurch's boil water notice has been extended, prompting council to look at bringing drinking water into parts of the city as supermarkets are selling out. The notice was sent to 14,000 households in the region after harmful bacteria was detected. Claire Sherwood, News Talk ZB South Island News Director, with us live this morning. Claire, good morning. Initially, a lot of people got an alert about this. People wondering why.
This certainly did come out of the blue to me, and as you say, 14,000 other people on Saturday when our emergency management systems went off on our cell phones, ringing out through the suburbs saying all water must be boiled, including for your pets, including for brushing teeth. All water had to be boiled. The issue was it came out of the blue on a Saturday. The link then to go to find out more information from the council website was down, and there was a lot of confusion. I was among many who went to supermarkets and then eventually sold the local supermarkets out of water, much like COVID times, because we just didn't know what we were dealing with. Over the last couple of days, some more information has come to hand. Council's confirmed that the bacteria total coliforms was detected as part of routine testing. Now, that bacteria is something that's present in fecal bacteria, but also can be present in soils. So the actual source of this issue, or the way the bacteria has got into our system, remains, a question. Taumata Arawai, the water regulator, has labelled it very unusual to see in a water supply. And of course, residents are continuing to ask questions over the next couple of days as to what to expect. We do know that we will need at least 3 days of clean and good test results before we can move to stopping boiling water. As a result, yes, supermarkets are bringing in pallets upon pallets of water, but it's continuing to sell out despite limits being put in place. And city councillors say it's yet another blow to those on the east, given the Bromley stench that we often talk about is also impacting much of the same suburbs.
Yeah, I feel bad for the east. Every time we talk about them, it's like you can't breathe, you can't drink. I mean, how are you surviving?
I know, and you imagine the kids. I mean, my little 6-year-old, for example, last night refusing a shower, and the reason for that is she's scared of the water because she's seeing and hearing the information coming through on the news, but also just discussions in the supermarket. So you can imagine those schools in the area are dealing with a lot today as kids return to class with lots of questions. It's certainly not a great time for those out east.
Certainly not, Claire. We really appreciate your reporting as always. Claire Sherwood, News Talk ZB South Island News Director, with us live this morning. Same goes for Wellington. You saw the mayor there talking about, on the south coast of Wellington, you've got a big southerly storm rolling in, while the raw sewage is being pumped into the ocean, and then the wind picks up the sewage and blows it in your face. Like, how disgusting is that? And that's just another day in the capital. Great. Right, 9 away from 8 o'clock. Next, Monday Market Outlook, thanks to our partners Forsyth Bar. And then the boys are in to talk sport. There's a lot to talk about. If you didn't catch the news this morning, Eden Park will host the State of O next year. Boys are here next.
When building for investment, it's important to find a team that you can trust.
We decided to build the GJs because of the good quality that they always provide us.
They help us throughout the whole process of getting the resource consent to the building consent, and their contracts are very easy to understand. We have built 4 houses with GJ Gardeners, and it's just easier every time we work with them.
I'll definitely recommend GJs to all of my friends and family.
If you're thinking of building, choose the builder you'll want to build with time and time again.
Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Kaylee Bell, Jelly Roll, Megan Moroney, Chris Stapleton. All the country stars have come to play on the all-new iHeart Country NZ. Your new home for country is iHeart Country NZ.
Know more of the story with Herald Premium, giving you full access to in-depth news, opinion and analysis, with more world news, business insights, and investigative reports from our world-class team of journalists. Plus subscriber-only functionality to comment on stories, access newspaper e-editions, gift articles, and enjoy crosswords and puzzles. Subscribe now to Herald Premium.
Welcome back. Time for a look at the markets now, thanks to our partners Forsyth Barr. New data shows Kiwi businesses are optimistic about the year ahead, which is great. Half of respondents in Forsyth Barr's Pulse of New Zealand business survey are budgeting for higher profits, as many sectors report signs of recovery and growth. Matt Montgomery is Senior Equity Analyst at Forsyth Barr, joins me at the desk. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what are the key takeaways from the survey? Sounds like a good one.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is a clear step up across our respondents. So we surveyed respondents between mid-Jan and early Feb. We got just under 1,600 responses from businesses across a range of sectors and business size. And what we're seeing, like I mentioned, is a sort of move from stabilisation into clear recovery. So a net 50% of respondents are budgeting higher profitability. That was about 30% in our last two surveys. And then if we look at demand changes over the last 3 months, that stepped up to about a net 50% of respondents seeing an increase versus about low teens in our last two surveys.
Wow.
So quite a meaningful step up there. And then if we break it down at a sector level, we're sort of seeing a broadening of the recovery. So previously positivity was concentrated in a handful of sectors. We're now seeing that expand into the more cyclically exposed sectors, so freight, manufacturing, hospitality and tourism, construction, etc., all sort of seeing that signs of improvement come through.
Which is fantastic. What about, so you're talking here both about what they are seeing in their, in their books, but also what they're expecting to see.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there's kind of been that mismatch, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, we think it will get better, but also we've actually just done worse.
Yeah. So it's a focus on profitability for the next 12 months versus the prior 12 months, and then a change in demand observed over the last 3 months. And so clearly there's a base effect in that the prior period or the prior 12 months is coming from a lower base for those cyclically exposed sectors, but we are seeing that improvement.
Brilliant.
Or expected improvement flow through.
What about, Matt, what about the rural-urban divide? How's that? Is that showing up?
Yeah, so that's a question we commenced 6 months ago, so this is the second time we've asked the differences there, and we've actually seen a widening of the regional strength, which was a slight surprise. So for those businesses that observed a change in demand over the last 3 months, the regional strength had outnumbered the urban by a factor of 4 to 1 versus 3 to 1 last time. So we're seeing that strength actually widen regionally.
And what about, and it's all very well to say that your demand is up or that you think your profit will be up. What about investment decisions and investment intentions? Are the businesses going to go out and buy stuff, new equipment?
Yeah. So again, new question this time, first time we asked it, but we are seeing sort of a modest step up expected. It definitely doesn't feel like businesses are expecting a significant step up, but the largest proportion of respondents was in that sort of modestly higher investment intentions, and that covers both capital expenditure, systems, people, so quite a wide-ranging, broad question. Again, I guess consistent with that recovery theme that's coming through.
When can we say that the recovery is actually happening? Can we say that yet? Surely we can.
I feel like we're in that zone now. We've got reporting season starting today. The next couple of weeks we'll see corporates coming through. So hopefully we shift from this green shoots narrative into something more substantiated, and I think we are there.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, you've called it. With Matt, thank you. Matt Montgomery, Senior Equity Analyst at Forsyth Barr, with us live this morning, thanks to our partners, Forsyth Barr. It is 3 minutes away from 8. Right, the California Governor, Gavin Newsom, the guy with the big grin, worth a lot of money, and he wants to be the president, and he wants to be the Democratic president. And so he goes to all the meetings that all of the actual politicians go to in Europe and has a lot to say, including about Donald Trump, and he's taken another swipe at him overnight. Have a look. Looks like Gavin Newsom, that he does not look like that. I can tell you that much. Basically what he's saying is to the Europeans, don't worry about Trump, he's going to be gone in 3 years. Which might be true. Well, let's hope it's true, because he's not meant to serve more than 2 terms, right? But he's basically saying, don't listen to him. Don't think that this is America. This is just Trump and it's just MAGA. But what's interesting about Gavin Newsom and California is that there is a ballot initiative there, which is when people go around and get a bunch of signatures to get a law passed. and it's trying to tax billionaires. So they want to tax billionaires a one-time 5% tax on assets to pay for healthcare. They say there's a big shortage in healthcare funding at the moment. And the billionaires obviously are not happy with this. There's 255 billionaires, by the way, in California. You think Silicon Valley, you think Hollywood, that kind of thing. More than 1/3 of California's tax revenue, 1/3, is funded by the top 1% of earners. And so Gavin Newsom, you would think, being a Democrat, would say, yeah, let's tax billionaires. But he's not. He's saying the opposite. He's saying we should not tax the billionaires, because if even a few of these billionaires leave, then we're even more screwed than we would be without them, because they're paying so much of it. And also, the other thing, of course, you've got to remember, is that he's funded, isn't he, by billionaires. Right, let's go to sport. It is 1 to 8. Let's go to the boys. Nathan Lim, Christopher Reeve are here from the Herald. Good morning.
Morning. Hey.
And it's been a great morning, hasn't it? We've had the Eden Park announcement, and State of Origin is happening.
Yeah. So we've got confirmation. There was a story out a few weeks ago. I sort of went to the government about it, and they gave a sort of non-statement, which generally means that there isn't a confirmation coming, and we got that this morning. So Eden Park is going to host a State of Origin fixture in 2027. So next year, Eden Park's expected to sell out for the occasion. It's thought to bring about $17.4 million into the New Zealand economy. So it's a great thing for sport in Auckland, and it's come among, I guess, some changes to the Eden Park rules around how late games can go and the noise restrictions. So it's going to be a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, what does it mean for league here, Chris, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've sort of always been of the camp as, I don't know why they would ever bring State of Origin to New Zealand, because there's just no New Zealand involvement. There's huge support of it over here, but it never really struck me as something they'd actually bring over here. But more eyes on the game, and this is essentially the biggest game in rugby league. Obviously they have the international window, but the NRL is so tailored to State of Origin. So getting the biggest game over here, it only brings more eyes, and it's the best product you're going to see of rugby league.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I'm assuming it's because we've paid more than the other Australian states would to get it here. Is that? I mean, it's a bidding war, isn't it?
You would think so. I heard Graham Lowe talk to you before, and he basically said that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't be bringing it over here if they didn't think they could make a good amount of money out of it.
No, true. Now, Nathan, the Sail GP, you obviously saw the crash. It was horrendous when we were there. It was like, oh my goodness, can people survive that? Like, it was really scary. But at the same time, and then you've got safety things that happen. At the same time, people do like to watch, because there's drama and there's the potential for collisions, don't they?
Well, it certainly would have got more eyes on it, on the event for that crash having happened. It was really scary to watch live, because you look at the speeds, and the New Zealand boat was going at over 90 kilometres an hour right before that crash, and you saw sort of the boats collided. Someone could have been killed. Someone's head could have been taken off, really, at the speeds that they were going. I guess, yes, that does play into it. As we like high stakes sport, and the sailors themselves, they're the best in the business, and they want the very top echelon of the sport to be going on. So I suppose, yeah, that does play into it. But then obviously they split the fleet for the second day of racing, and safety does have to be paramount.
Yeah, and because it's like F1, isn't it? Same with F1, and they all go for trying to get around the first corner, around the first bend, and collisions happen. And yeah, it's hard, because you don't want to say like, oh, we want a collision to happen, because you do not. It's horrifying when it does happen, but it's the near misses, I think, that sort of thrill people, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I think that's a big point. And people who might be at the camp that, a crash wouldn't be the worst thing, probably not thinking a crash quite that bad, where you've got a sailor come away with 2 broken legs, needing surgery, another one go to hospital for internal concerns. Yeah, it's not what we want to see, but it is the near misses and the whole thrill of the high speeds, especially in, I guess, the first leg of the race, where all the teams are just gunning in a straight line for that first marker. It's just about getting there as fast as you can.
Very quickly, Super Rugby update. We had the Chiefs beating the Blues, and we had the Highlanders. My grandma rang me last night, very excited. My boys have done it. And Jamie Joseph, surely he's going to get the job now. That's it, right? Done.
Well, I mean, it'd be an opportune time as sides sort of beating the defending champions and straight into the All Blacks job. Whereas if the Highlanders had suffered a heavy loss and then you're bringing Jamie Joseph in to coach the All Blacks, potentially some people are going, why are we bringing this guy in? So, yeah, it would be a good send-off. If
it won't hurt his chances.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there, boys. Thanks for coming in, as always.
Always a pleasure.
Good to see you this morning. That's lots to talk about too. Nathan Lim and Christopher Reeve from the Herald. Right, it is 3 minutes after 8. We're a little late to news. We'll get there in a second. Monday the 16th of February, great to have your company on the show this hour. A huge win for Eden Park, announced earlier this morning, more concerts. Later starts for cricket, lots going on. We'll talk to Nick Saltner, who's the boss there, in a second. More on the Sale GP this morning as well, and that wild weather that continues. Oh, this is the crash that we were just talking about at Sale GP over the weekend. Devastating for both teams and both boats. We'll talk about that some more. And we will get to this, the weather. Wild and wet and windy across the central North Island. We'll speak to the Mayor of the Tararua District, one of the area's worst hit. First, here's Neva.
Herald Now News, powered by Newstalk ZB.
Wild weather is continuing to affect many parts of the country. Tens of thousands of people are without power, multiple highways are closed, and flights, Wellington trains and Cook Strait ferry sailings are impacted. Manawatu, Wanganui, Otorohanga and Waipa remain under states of emergency. Manawatu, Rangitike and Ruapehu are under a red heavy rain warning. Met Service says we're going to see big impacts across a wide area, including central, eastern and southern parts of the North Island. Eden Park is set to host New Zealand's first ever State of Origin match next year. It's also set to host more concerts. The government's confirmed the Auckland Stadium will host the game with support from the government's Major Events Fund and Auckland Council event. It expects more than 10,000 Australians will come here for the game. And the government's also confirmed changes, allowing the stadium to hold 12 large and 20 medium-sized concerts a year with no restrictions on the days they can be held. Wellington's mayor says Wellington Water needs to focus on fixing the Moore Point sewage treatment plant as it loses its chair. Nick Leggett has resigned after the catastrophic failure at the site, which is expected to take months to fix. Andrew Little says it was the right thing to do. A public meeting will be held on the Moore Point crisis in Wellington tonight. David Seymour's radical approach to shrinking the government hasn't gone down well with the largest trade union. The ACT leader wants to cut the number of ministers to 20 and consolidate the public service into no more than 30 departments. He says there are still too many agencies and says each minister should be in charge of just one portfolio. Public Service Association National Secretary Fleur Fitzsimon says he's playing attempted populism. The growth in food prices has moderated slightly, but it might not stay that way. The Infometrics Grocery Supplier Cost Index was 2.3% higher in January compared to the same time last year. That growth is slightly slower than December 2025. Principal economist Brad Olson says many products have been under a summer moratorium, which means they haven't increased in price. And he says the jury's still out on whether this trend will continue. Olsen says cost pressures on producers like electricity are increasing. A win for the marine life in Whangaparoa's rock pools north of Auckland. From March 12, there will be a 2-year ban on the taking of a range of invertebrate and seaweed species. Some days up to 200 people can be seen stripping the pools, gathering everything from starfish to sea cucumbers.
Herald Now Weather.
It's been incredibly windy and incredibly wet across parts of New Zealand overnight thanks to this low pressure system. It stays close by as we head through Monday, sinking southwards, pushing that rain further in towards Canterbury. We will start to find a clearance to the north, but we've still got plenty of strong winds and heavy rainfall as we head through the rest of Monday. Heavy rainfall warnings in place across many parts of these eastern areas, including that red heavy rainfall warning through Manawatu and up towards Taihape. And we'll keep hold of some strong wind warnings and watches as we head through at least the morning time, places like Tairafti. As we head down towards the south, some of the best weather down towards Fjord and elsewhere, generally turning cloudier with that rain sinking southwards. Heavy rainfall warnings and watches kick in from Canterbury and up towards Marlborough. Heavy rain and stronger winds down that western coast as well. More winds to come for Wellington and that rainfall pushing in through Wairapa and feeding around towards parts of inland Manawatu and Whanganui. Those red heavy rainfall warnings still with us. And it's a windy, wet start here in Hawke's Bay as well. Gusts perhaps 120, 130 kilometres an hour in the most exposed areas. Gradually getting better though as we head through the afternoon. Up here in the north, well, some of the best weather through the daytime. The skies should start to clear and the winds easing off, and some of the better, brighter weather for Northland.
A big boost for Eden Park this morning with news it'll host the State of Origin in 2027 and will soon be allowed to host almost triple the number of concerts each year. The government says the changes could unlock hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity. Nick Saltner is the CEO of Eden Park, joins us this morning. Nick, good morning and congratulations. Your wish has been granted.
Good morning, Ryan, and it's a proud and historic day here at our National Stadium. We're delighted with the government's announcement around the restrictions being lifted, but also one of Australia's biggest events, State of Origin, coming here, Eden Park in 27.
What is the bigger news?
Well, we couldn't probably have done, without the restrictions changing, people will genuinely take it seriously now as a hybrid multi-purpose stadium. We know the world's largest artists, we are the only stop for them to come to New Zealand, and this is just wonderful news. Just the restrictions have been like a hotel being able to operate 2 days a week. It's just has been, for us, a 9-year investment with the community, with the council and now with the government to see the economic benefits, the employment benefits, but also, like on the weekend, Sail GP on, the Edinburgh Tattoo being built at Eden Park. There's a real buzz around Auckland.
Yeah, there definitely is. Nick, so did you say to the government, without these changes, like we're trying to get the State of Origin here, without these changes, then it won't happen?
Well, there's been a number of conversations, not only about State of Origin, but for example, when a touring artist needs Sunday to be played at Eden Park, they need surety. They don't need us to be going through a council consent process that could take, whether it be 4 weeks or a year. We were currently restricted, or previously restricted, to 6 concerts. It was then increased to 6 artists of up to 12 shows. It's not for me to determine what artists should be playing at our national stadium. We want to be open for business, and this decision today, with the restrictions being lifted, it's a good decision for business and for the community.
Nick, can you give us an idea of the type of acts that we might be able to see with those restrictions lifted?
Well, even tomorrow we're making an announcement about a small concert, just 1,000 people for a family event. In the past, that would have been classified as one of our 6 artists and 12 shows. So those are the types of events now we'll be able to implement without having to either apply for consent or be in a situation where they have to pass New Zealand.
And what time is that event on, the family one?
Sunday afternoon.
So that would have chewed up one of your allocated resource event. That's ridiculous. So think.
Also in a situation, Ryan, this was not only for music, it was also for sport. There was restrictions on the number of events that we could have in the evening for sport. And we've had 3 Women's World Cups over an 18-month period. There's equality in sport when it comes to women's sport. We're in a situation where we're going to run out of night games for content in the sports space as well. So it's a great decision. It's common sense by the government.
Nick, do you know how much extra money this will allow you to make? Because I looked at your financials when they came out not long ago. Last year was good, but the Ford track wasn't that great. Is that going to dramatically improve as a result of this decision?
Well, the pipeline of content, some events we're working on for 3 to 6 years. But what I would say is the University of Auckland undertook some research and it showed that this could be 3 times the economic benefit for the city with the restrictions lifted. Since the Rugby World Cup, over $1 billion of economic benefit has been delivered as a result of the event economy at Eden Park. So the sky is now the limit. And you see with today's announcement around State of Origin, This is the NRL believing in Eden Park as a hybrid multi-purpose stadium and bringing one of, if not the biggest showcase for NRL to our national stadium, to Auckland and New Zealand.
Do you know how much the government paid them to bring it here?
I don't, but what I do say is that the event fund is working. The 70 million that has been invested, we've seen promoters of actively now having conversations around 26 and 27 and what is possible. We've missed out on events previously. We don't want to miss out events in future. The east coast of Australia is super competitive, as well as Western Australia with their event fund. So you've got to give it to the government. They've said events provide escapism, employment, but also economic benefits. People come to Auckland as a ticket holder and leave as a tourist. So we're delighted, and let's hope we can get 10, 20 or 30,000 coming across the ditch for State of Origin in 27.
I think you probably will too. Nick, appreciate your time this morning as always. Thank you, and congratulations on that good news this morning. Nick Sauntner, CEO of Eden Park. We do have a lot of good news this morning. Not so good was what happened at the weekend with Sail GP, the crash. What happens next for the Black Foils? How long will it take them to get back on the water? We're also live to, speaking of water, to the Tararua district where plenty of it is falling this morning. We'll have an update from the Central North Island storm-hit region shortly.
Stop paying the waiting tax. The money you could miss out on by delaying the start of your investment journey. Up your tempo with Tempo, the guided investment app that helps you get started. Don't delay because you don't think you have enough time, money, or know-how. All you need is a goal, and our guidance will help with the rest. You can do it. We can help. Here's how. Download Tempo now.
Hip-hop and R&B. Flavour.
Ah, here she is. How's the business going?
Good, actually. We just switched to 2 degrees. Well, we tested the networks and couldn't see any difference. But 2 degrees has the most satisfied customers. With Flex, we get instant control of phone plans, data usage, and cost centre reporting. And they're the fastest growing business network.
Can I have what she's having?
Ready?
One Roof Property. Love where you live.
The New Zealand Herald. News worth knowing.
Welcome back. It's 8:16 now on your Monday morning. The Black Foil season is likely over and repairs to their boat could run into the millions after a high-speed crash with the French on the opening day of Sail GP's return to Auckland at the weekend. Right. We will have pictures for you of that in a moment. Mark Oram, sailing commentator and former Team New Zealand sailor, is with us this morning. Mark, good morning.
Morning, Ryan.
It was hard to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was certainly a heart-in-the-mouth thing on Saturday. So unfortunate to see that unfold, but also just glad that nobody was killed. It could have been that tragic.
Yeah, because they're going bloody fast, aren't they?
Well, they're going at speeds we drive down the motorway, and we know what happens when there's an accident on the motorway at nearly 100 k's an hour. And so it was, I think, an enormous credit to Quentin Delapierre, the French helmsman, who just at the last second turned to avoid the bow actually piling into the front pod where Marcus Hansen and Lewis Sinclair were in the Black Foils boat. So that while Lewis Sinclair was badly injured, if it had been a direct hit, it could have been a lot worse.
So where are they actually placed and where did the injury happen from what we're watching here?
Yeah, so Lewis Sinclair and Marcus Hansen are the grinders. So they're in the forwardmost position on the boat. And so where the French bow went across was basically in their area, only about a metre forward of them. It hit the centreboard or the front foil on the boat, so completely destroyed the starboard hull. of the black foils. And as I say, at that speed, if a bow goes directly into a human being, there's only one outcome, and it's not good.
So what do we do now? I mean, this is the question, because and we talked about this before, coming on air. You want safety. You have to have safety as your paramount, but also the experience for the fans. Before this happened, when I was watching it from the stand, everyone was so excited and thrilled by the near misses and the close calls and the speed and all of that kind of thrilling stuff. And the boats were all right next to each other and going hell for leather. You want the experience, but it has to be a balance, I suppose, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And I think that's the right word. You have to balance the safety of the participants, of the athletes, with the compelling product that Russell Coutts and SailGP have developed, which is an incredible product. It's exciting to watch. The real test for me, Ryan, is when non-sailors who don't really understand the sport get absolutely captured by it, and that's what they've done with SailGP. So this is not sitting on North Head with a pair of binoculars watching things unfold in the distance over an hour and a half. This is quick-fire, exciting, dramatic, thrilling kind of sporting spectacle, really. But it does need to be balanced with the safety. And it's sort of analogous to where I think Formula One was in the 70s and 80s, where they decided quite rightly that they needed to get on top of the safety. When people start to get hurt, when people start to die, as they did back in those days, you have to start to put the safety factor as a higher priority. And there's a balancing act that can be reached there, and the product can still be outstanding like it was on Sunday when they split the fleet and they made the course a little bit further away from the shore. In my view, it was no less exciting or entertaining, but it was a lot safer.
Yeah, which they were going to do anyway, weren't they, when the extra boat comes in the race. Do you think there are other safety things, improvements they'll have to make, or do you think they'll do it for now?
I think there are. I think it's one of those continuous improvement things. As time goes on, they will come up with better ways, and of course, very experienced sailors there. And so, getting the sailors around the table and asking them what they think are the things that need to change is an important next step. And I understand they're going to do that. They know they don't want to put themselves at risk. So they know some of the things that need to change. But what they did on Sunday was really smart. They changed the start time so that the more extreme conditions forecast didn't come into play. The tide was much better in the morning on Sunday. They spread the race course out a bit more, further away from the land. They split the fleets. All those things were smart decisions. And that's the sort of thing they need to do, is to adapt to the conditions and what they're learning as time goes on.
Mark, thank goodness, because yesterday afternoon the wind was howling.
It was extreme.
Wouldn't have been going out in those conditions. And just finally, the black foils, for how long do you reckon they're out?
It's months, not weeks. I think it's that starboard hull is completely destroyed. So a brand new hull needs to be built. It's not just that, it's all the electronics, all the hydraulics, and the major structure of the beams completely gone. So maybe end of July. That's the race that goes to Europe. It's the first one in the UK,
wow.
So they will be out for a long time. And they'll be down the queue too, Ryan. So French boat, that takes priority getting them fixed first, wasn't their fault. And then they're building new boats as well. So SailGP Technologies has got much higher priorities than putting the Kiwi boat back together.
Mark, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Mark Orams, AUT sailing commentator with us, of course, former champion himself, 21 minutes after 8. All Air New Zealand flights, this is breaking news this morning, all Air New Zealand flights in and out of Wellington have been paused this morning. It comes as strong winds blow through the capital with an extremely unusual 193 km/h gust measured in Wellington. Air New Zealand says all operations in and out of Wellington, Napier and Palmerston North are paused. They are advising customers to delay travel in affected ports today if non-urgent. Services are expected to resume later this morning when the winds have died down. Let's go to the Tararoa district now, one of the worst hit by this, and the Mayor joins us, Scott Gilmore. Scott, good morning. Looks like we're having problems with Scott. We will take a... there he is. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to have you on the show. How's your region faring?
We were actually pretty lucky, Ryan. I think we missed the worst of it, of what we thought might land. So, we're out there checking our roading networks now that we've got a little bit more light. But thankfully, it certainly wasn't as bad as what we thought it may have been.
Okay, and what did you think? What was the, what were you anticipating?
So we were told that we could have similar levels to Cyclone Gabrielle in some parts of our district. Incredibly heavy rain, which we had, but slightly less volumes than what was predicted, and hugely significant winds again, which we had, but not quite to the level that we may have. So we're incredibly fortunate, but. A lot of this goes down to our team were incredibly professional. We made sure that our communities were prepared. We set up our emergency operations centre, so we were ready to go. Luckily, some of that weather pattern just sort of skirted around us.
And the preemptive evacuations that happened, was that the right call? Do you kind of have to weigh up whether you disturb people unnecessarily versus the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, no, fair question. We had 15 evacuations, 15 people evacuated in Herbertville. So that was self-evacuation. They decided to do that. We took the decision in our district to declare a preemptive state of emergency because of the information that we had beforehand. And, it was the right call to make, because if that weather had have landed the way that it was predicted and presented to us, we'd be having a very, very different conversation right now.
Scott, appreciate your time this morning, and hopefully you have escaped the worst of it for good. Scott Gilmore, Tararua District Mayor, with us this morning, 24 minutes after 8. Our panel is here next, Carmen Parahi and Phil Goff.
Term deposit rates are falling, but your returns shouldn't. Speak to a Forsyth Barr investment advisor about alternative strategies, their benefits and risks, and how they can help you meet your investment goals. Forsyth Barr, investment advice.
A lot of radio shows like to say they're with you in the morning.
Here at The Hits, we like to go the extra mile.
Not all of us get to experience this.
Come on, you're running late.
It's going to be a great day today, babes. I can feel it. Spit. You see, when we say we're with you, we actually mean it.
Oh, don't forget Sarah, you got social netball tonight. And Mark's working late again.
Jono and Ben with you in the morning and anytime on iHeartRadio. On The Hits.
Hey, Dad.
What's up? What's up?
You know that's from the 90s, right?
So's this fuel price. 6 cents off per litre on the Gallop, even on top of discount day.
That's what's up.
Download the Gallop. What's up?
Welcome back. Let's go to our political, well, not political paddle. They're a little bit political, okay? Phil Goff, former Auckland Mayor, is with us, and Carmen Parahi, media specialist. Morena, good morning.
Morena, we love talking politics.
I know. I didn't want to mislabel the segment, but it's technically quite political. We'll start with Eden Park. This is not political, is it? Unless you're Helen Clark and live nearby.
Yeah, Helen won't be pleased, but I think it's a good idea. What surprises me is that the government has actually moved in and taken over control of something which is pretty low level. It's something that really they should have had a discussion with the council about, and the council should have made that decision. But, will you get to 32 concerts a year? That's pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
We weren't even getting to 12, which is the allowable level.
But there's lots of little ones. Like I just spoke to Nick Sauntner, who said tomorrow they're going to announce a 1,000 concert for a family concert on a Sunday afternoon. That would have chewed up one of their resource consent
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's at Eden Park. 1,000 people at Eden Park is nothing.
I know, on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So good thing it's changing.
It is, but I do feel sorry for the residents because they wouldn't have bought into 32 concerts or an extra 20 concerts a year. Although, you know, if you told me, I would have worn my New South Wales Blues, go the Blues for the state of origin. But I am really excited about that. I'm a little bit, I like Eden Park, but they do need to up their spectator game because if you've been to a rugby game, it's really boring. It's the crowd that's boring, and it may be a rugby crowd, but if you go to a rugby league game at Ghost Stadium, the excitement, the noise, the colour across the faces as well as what they do is way more exciting. And so I hope that Eden Park can deliver that excitement that you get at Go Media Stadium. And I am surprised that Mayor Brown did allow the government actually to take more control of that whole announcement today, as well as the negotiations for it.
Yeah, well, it's not his to make, is it really? I mean, they took control. That's their prerogative. And they did the funding. I mean, it's kind of their baby, really, in a way.
Yeah, well, they're paying for the state of origin, I think.
Exactly.
$5 million.
Yeah.
Is it $5 million?
Yeah, that's what I've read.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's quite a lot of money, but it will bring in 10,000 visitors from overseas. It'll be worth, 17 million or something to the local economy. But it's also, you've got to think about this, it's a zero-sum game because a lot of the concerts are being held at places like Mount Smart and Western Springs. So what happens? Do they then move from those venues over to Eden Park? So it won't necessarily be a net increase in concerts. Most of the concerts I've been to have been at Mount Smart, and like the rugby league games, they've been pretty damn good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good point, fair point too. The free trade agreement with India, there's a lot of talk about, I mean, there's education stuff, there is migrant worker stuff, which I think those two things, they will get sorted between National and Labor, but it's this investment thing that seems to be the sticky point. And Phil, I was looking at the numbers after we did the FTA with China that you signed. The investment wasn't anywhere near what this is going to have to be with India. And this, your one included dairy.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm in favour of the FTA with India. I think you've got to go in that direction. It'll be the third largest economy in the world. And it does open up stuff, you know, for horticulture, forestry, fisheries, etc. But this investment fund, $33 billion over 15 years. And how does the government influence that anyway? And so the minister says, well, it's just aspirational. Well, it's obviously that. But there's a clause in there that says that India can retract the benefits that it's giving to New Zealand if they don't reach that. So that's the dodgiest part of the deal from my point of view. I don't know what might be done about that. On the education side, it's just really important that we don't go back to the old days where students came here on student visas but really to work. So you've got to make sure that your international education is quality and they're here to study and the work is on the side rather than the main purpose.
And should aspiration be in a free trade agreement?
No.
Well,
and how are we going to monitor it, right? So, and it is monitoring the students. Are we ensuring that we are monitoring that students do come here to study, that they actually get full benefit from their study here, that they're not exploited by new institutions that set up or institutions that are here? So how do we monitor that? How do we monitor our migrant workers as well to ensure, you know, slavery has become a big thing in New Zealand that we're worried about and that we have a cross-party agreement about. So these are all things that we always have to consider. I am excited too, though. Free trade agreements are good for New Zealand. We're at the bottom of we're at the top of the world. I always say that. We're at the top of the world.
We're far away.
Depending on perspective.
We're far away. Now, Carmen, if I told you that I would give you unlimited access to all of the anti-age... No. Although dark chocolate...
Whittaker's chocolate. Sorry.
Dark chocolate apparently is good for aging, for anti-aging.
Thank you. I did have some last night.
We all tell ourselves that.
With the glass of red wine.
Did you?
That's good for you too, apparently.
But so this is a story of the weekend, a great story actually, about millionaires, billionaires who are obsessed with the... Not anti-aging, but what's it called? Like...
longevity.
Preventing aging, stopping the aging process. Longevity. If you could have unlimited access to all of those treatments, would you do them all?
Without having to pay for it?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, and because I am an older woman now, and enjoying my years on HRT, can I just say, I am taking my health seriously a lot more now than I did when I was a journalist. And so what that means is that I, do focus on my health, sleep, eat. Apparently, if you exercise more and eat less and sleep more, well, voila, your health improves.
You live longer.
Oh, yeah. So I do laugh because I think, that's, it gives people with a lot of money something to spend all their money on. But actually there is a simplicity to living longer. And actually I'm reading Dr. Atzia's book at the moment about longevity, an American doctor who looks at what can help and what can't help. And the three things I just talked about, sleep, exercise and eating less, very helpful.
Yeah. Or eating less bad stuff. Don't eat nothing, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. We are not suggesting that people should starve themselves.
No, Phil.
Well, your question's hypothetical because we're not going to get it for nothing, and only the billionaires or the millionaires can pay for it, and good luck to them. But I'm less interested in millionaires trying to extend their life by a couple of years and stretching their face to try to make it look like they're younger than I am about the fact that there's a whole lot of people that die unnecessarily young because they come from poor and disadvantaged backgrounds. So that'd be my focus, and the millionaires can do what they like.
Oh, all right then. So you'd never get one of these treatments, Phil?
No,
you never get a bit of Botox?
What I am worried about, though, is the billionaire visas.
Oh, why? Why?
Peter Thiel.
All this money's coming. What's wrong with that?
It's the type of people that come in with that money.
Now, hang on. Just because somebody made some money, that they're a bad person?
No, that's not what I said. I said, are we checking their characters? Are we ensuring that these people are actually going to invest? And I did like that actually the Minister said that they will be monitoring to check that the investments they said they'd make, they will make. So as long as that happens.
So they've sent Peter Thiel home, have they? Because he's withdrawn his investments, or has he still got the New Zealand passport?
Well, he's still got the passport, I think, doesn't he?
Of course he has.
He's still got the house.
But he didn't deliver on his promises.
Well, you can't win them all. I mean, what would we rather?
What would we
rather? That no one rich came here because they might be a bad person, and then we're just the bottom of the world with no money.
How do you hold a billionaire to account? How do you stop how do you say to a billionaire, hey, you said you were going to invest in these things, where's the investment?
Well, I'll tell you how.
You could send them a letter.
An Epstein email is generally how you hold
are they the type of people that are coming here? This is what you have to ask yourself, right?
All right, we're getting way off track. Good to see you both.
And you too, Ryan.
It's Phil Goff, former Auckland Mayor, Labour leader with us, and Carmen Patahi, media specialist. Time is 24 to 9. Here's Neva.
Herald Now News, powered by Newstalk ZB.
When building for investment, it's important to find a team that you can trust.
We decided to build the GJs because of the good quality that they always provide us.
They help us throughout the whole process of getting the resource consent to the building consent, and their contracts are very easy to understand. We have built 4 houses with GJ Gardeners, and it's just easier every time we work with them.
I'll definitely recommend GJs to all of my friends and family.
If you're thinking of building, choose the builder you'll want to build with time and time again.
Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Kaylee Bell, Jelly Roll, Megan Moroney, Chris Stapleton. All the country stars have come to play on the all-new iHeart Country NZ. Your new home for country is iHeart Country NZ.
Know more of the story with Herald Premium. giving you full access to in-depth news, opinion and analysis, with more world news, business insights, and investigative reports from our world-class team of journalists. Plus subscriber-only functionality to comment on stories, access newspaper e-editions, gift articles, and enjoy crosswords and puzzles. Subscribe now to Herald Premium.
Maximising productivity, what have you got?
Well, if we switch to 2 degrees, with Flex for Business, we can instantly manage data usage, employee mobile plans, and cost centre reporting, saving us time and money. Cool. I'll get onto that then. Mm-hmm.
We've done few subdivision with GJ Gardner, and from the resource consent to the building consent, getting the council permits and stuff, always GJ Gardners are ahead and helping us out through the whole process, and it was so easy working with GJ.
Oh, yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Oh, yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough.
Vacant City Acting Prime Minister, does he stand by all?
You don't shout out like some bunch of clowns at university.
My message to the union is very clear. Don't do
The New Zealand Herald, news worth knowing.
Welcome back. Right, time now is 20 away from 9. Let's go to politics. We had the Eden Park announcement live this morning. We've got the Reserve Bank announcement Wednesday this week. We've got a lot happening in the world of politics. Thomas Coughlin is the Herald's political editor with us in Wellington this morning. Thomas, good morning.
Morning, Ryan.
I'm told that there's something happening at your house. There's power outages or something's going on. What's happening?
Yeah, so I'm sorry about the sort of patchy quality of my stream. I live in Wellington, as a lot of political journalists do, and the wind took out my power poles, my connections last night. So I'm currently trapped in my house because the power poles and the internet lines that connect my house to the street are on the ground, and I'm riding around, and I'm told that it's not very safe to step over them to get out. So I'm trapped. But it's nice to spend this morning with you, Ryan. Like I'm not, never really trapped thanks to the internet. So there you go.
So are you coming to me via a writhing line on your driveway right now?
That is. I don't know which of the poles which of the lines is the one that's on the ground, but yes. So this shaky stream is coming to you from some line that is kind of riding on the stairs on its connection to you. So that's. I mean, is that a miracle of technology? It's impressive that it still works. It's terrifying, but no. It's good.
It's very impressive is what it is. Thomas, can you tell us what last night, because I'm from Wellington and when people say, when Aucklanders say it's windy in Wellington, you go, yeah, is it really? What was last night actually like?
Last night I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was I live close to the south coast. Nothing good happens on the south coast at the moment. And you can see the windows sort of dancing in their window frames. It's quite incredible. You look out your window and the glass is it's like a sea. The glass is sort of moving, jumping around in the frames, and the noise is quite incredible. And then the air is like it's not just full of rain, but it's full of like twigs and leaves and stuff blowing around. It was not the windiest I've ever had it, but it's certainly up there, and there's a lot of damage this morning.
Yeah, and hopefully just twigs, not shit as well. That was the big worry.
Well, I mean,
wasn't it?
that's the other thing is that the worst stuff isn't the stuff that's in the air; it's in the sea.
Exactly. Thomas, you can see that this is the best weather interview we've had today, by the way. And hopefully everybody is keeping safe at home or wherever they can be. But what is the situation with the airport? I understand you can see it, or can normally see it from your house.
Yeah, so I can normally see it. It's currently covered in water and rain. The airport, I believe, is closed at the moment, which is bringing it back to politics. There will be questions about how the Prime Minister is going to make it down for cabinet today. Obviously, started the day at Eden Park, lucky him. But I don't think he'll be making it to Wellington. So maybe he'll be zooming in, or get David Seymour, his Deputy Prime Minister, to chair it for him. So. But the airport is not. I can't see the airport, and I usually can. So that is not a good sign. I don't think there'll be many, if any, flights taking off or landing from there today.
No, there won't be. We had Erica Stanford on earlier, and she was in here because couldn't get the flight down, and she said zooming into cabinet today is the way to go. So what about the announcement at Eden Park, the one you mentioned? I mean, Luxon will be loving this because it's he said if we just do the resource consents and stuff, and then we can get the funding right, and we can get these big events in here, and he's got one.
Yeah, and it's a whole, as part of the government's RMA reform, they've created this whole new sort of pathway whereby if there are some planning rules that are getting in the way of a sort of economic good, that the minister can have a look at it, investigate it, and after having investigated it, can intervene, which is what has happened here with this direction to the council to open up. So now you've got a maximum of 12 large concerts plus 20 smaller concerts a year. They've raised the time that the concerts or games can be held, which means you'll have a lot more kind of international events coming in. The state of origin one is a good example. I mean, they've had to have a special rule for just the state of origin coming here, but it means that an event which is staged in New Zealand, but primarily for Australian audiences, can be hosted. Beforehand, it wouldn't have been. So it is a massive thing for the Prime Minister because it's sort of symbolic of his culture of yes rather than culture of no kind of mantra. Making these tweaks to our planning laws to allow more things to happen to bring more money in. I mean, obviously, a few more concerts at Eden Park is hardly going to turn the Auckland or national economy around. But he is using it as a sort of as a symbol of wider changes which this government is making to just allow more economic activity and kind of cut red tape to allow things like this. So it'll be interesting to see what else we get. Some of those big concerts, it's not just the consenting. It is just the fact that these big concerts don't tend to go to medium-sized cities like Auckland anymore. Exactly. Taylor Swift, for example. We're
not going to get Tay-Tay. Let's not get our hopes up. Hey, Thomas, good to see you. You're just staying home today, working from home.
Yeah. I've got a meeting this morning, and then I'm probably going to watch whoever's fronting the post-cabinet press conference today. I'll probably watch that on Zoom.
Yeah, very good. All right, we'll leave you to it, Thomas. Thank you. Enjoy your day at home. That's Thomas Coughlin, political editor for the Herald. It is 14 away from 9. We'll be back in just a moment.
When building for investment, it's important to find a team that you can trust.
We decide to build the GGs because they're good quality that they always provide us.
They help us throughout the whole process of getting the resource consent to the building consent, and their contracts are very easy to understand. We have built 4 houses with GJ Gardeners, and it's just easier every time we work with them.
I'll definitely recommend GJs to all of my friends and family.
If you're thinking of building, choose the builder you'll want to build with time and time again.
Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Still can't get enough. Yeah, do what I want. Yeah, can't get enough. Still can't get enough.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Kaylee Bell, Jelly Roll, Megan Moroney, Chris Stapleton. All the country stars have come to play on the all-new iHeart Country NZ. Your new home for country is iHeart Country NZ.
Know more of the story with Herald Premium, giving you full access to in-depth news, opinion and analysis, with more world news, business insights, and investigative reports from our world-class team of journalists. Plus subscriber-only functionality to comment on stories, access newspaper e-editions, gift articles, and enjoy crosswords and puzzles. Subscribe now to Herald Premium.
In his house. Welcome back. Right, 12 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Ferrari. Now I've got your attention. They've revealed the interior design for the first ever EV model, the Ferrari Lucci. Damien O'Carroll is multimedia journalist at Driven and joins us this morning to talk us through it. Damien, good morning.
Good morning.
Have they not got an EV version?
No. They've never done an EV before. This is their first one. They're kind of drip feeding the information out about it, and they've revealed the interior.
And?
It is strangely, well, not strangely, but surprisingly retro. But the most interesting part about it, you look at it, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it looks like an iPhone or an iPad a lot of the way. It's just the designs. It turns out it's designed by the man that originally designed the iPhone.
Oh, actually?
Johnny Ive, yes. He left
Wow.
he was at Apple from 1992 till 2019. Then he left and started his own company, and he's now doing the interior design for the new Ferrari. And he is on record as coming out and saying that despite being the man that popularised the mainstream use of touchscreens in phones, he thinks they're totally wrong for cars. So this is very minimal touchscreen.
I would tend to agree with him.
Yes.
Because the number of times, I'm actually not sure whether my touchscreen is a touchscreen or not, but the number of times I've gone to try and answer a phone on it, and it's not as good as having the bells and whistles on your wheel.
There's certain things that it's fine for in cars, but just physical controls are just so necessary in cars.
Yeah, totally. Now, what about the name? This is different to the way they've named cars in the past, is it?
Sort of. They're sort of saying that in the press releases and the marketing. It's called the Luce, which means light or enlighten in Italian, which is just sort of basically leading into the whole electric EV thing. But they've previously revealed all the technical underpinnings for it. It's got like an enormous battery. It's going to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometres in about 2.9 seconds. It's got 4 electric motors. It's going to be pretty insane.
And will people buy it? Because if you're a Ferrari person, are you a Ferrari EV person?
Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, it's going to be, they're saying about €500,000, so about $1 million almost. It's going to be a very, very high end even for a Ferrari. Ferraris have always been very sort of sensory experiences, so that's why they're going out for everything's machined from recycled aluminium and everything just feels nice. But they've also got a very interesting fake noise. It's not really a fake noise because EVs don't make much noise at all. They've got sensors on the axles that pick up the mechanical rotation of the axles, and it's like an electric guitar. It's going to use those vibrations to transform it into an amplified sound on the cabin.
Do we know what that will sound like?
No, we don't know what that will sound like yet, but I'm thinking it'll be pretty spectacular.
And only in the cabin, not like on loudspeakers?
I don't know. Again, possibly. Some do that. And again, Ferraris are known sort of for their showiness, shall we say. The owners do like other people to know they've got them, so...
Fascinating. I can't wait to see it in person. When will we get to see one?
Later this year, they're actually revealing the exterior design. So they've shown the underpinnings, they've shown the interior now, and then later on it'll be the exterior, and I guess it'll go on sale probably, I don't know, later this year, early next year.
For how much?
Oh, it'll be close to $1 million.
Oh, it will be?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What do they normally cost?
Ferrari.
For a non-EV?
Oh, they get up there. They can get up to sort of around that price for the real super high-end stuff. So.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So those guys I see driving around Victoria Park and down from Herne Bay in their Ferraris are probably paid, north of 500 at least?
For some, yeah. I think the cheapest Ferrari starts, I'm off the top of my head here, around sort of 300,000-400,000.
Wow.
But very few of them roll out at base price. They're all accessorised and...
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes. I can't wait to see the exterior.
Yes.
I'm assuming it'll be quite similar to
Apparently it's going to look like the Puro Sangue, which is their SUV, sort of SUV. So it's
okay.
the same styling cues.
Got you. Very cool. Damien, thanks for showing us this morning. Really appreciate it. Damien O'Carroll, multimedia journalist at Driven. Time is 7 away from 9. The State of Origin is heading to Auckland next year, a major win for rugby league fans, with ratings expected to surge as Kiwis tune in. We spoke to Sir Graham Lowe earlier on the program, and I will tell you what he said to us. He said we would have paid good money to get this here. So taxpayers, that's us, the government, would have put money in through the Major Events Fund in order to secure this. We don't know how much. Maybe the word is maybe around $5 million. We're not entirely sure at this point. But whatever it cost, surely it'll be worth it if we can get 10, 20, Lowy said maybe even 30,000 fans across the Tasman enjoying the hospitality, enjoying all the good stuff we saw the Sail GP fans enjoy over the weekend. Let's hear what Lowy had to say a little earlier.
Oh, really excited. I think this is fantastic news the Prime Minister has just given us all. State of Origin is, honestly, I'm not exaggerating at all, Ryan. It is an event that is going to put Eden Park, it's going to allow Eden Park to show something that's so exciting. We've had a lot of exciting events at Eden Park over the years, but nothing will match what State of Origin delivers. Even though this is an Australian thing, it's very, very special. It's world class. It's unique with what it actually does and has delivered since 1980.
What was it like winning it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. One of the things the Premier at the time, Wayne Goss, in the official function after winning it, and they made me an honorary Queenslander, which I think I'm the only one. But after winning it, he said, any establishment in Queensland found charging Graham Lowe for a Forex will immediately lose their licence. That's what it meant.
Brilliant. Lowe, you said it's going to be game-changing for Auckland. What do we need to do to make sure that we capitalise on this, that we make the most of it?
I think people, the buzz will, as it gets closer, it'll build up. But I think we've got to turn up and be there. I mean, this is a privilege to have this game here, and I actually never thought it would happen, to tell the truth. But it is a privilege. I think the government's done a fantastic job behind the scenes there, and Brownie's been involved as well, I'm sure. But this is something that we have to grasp and show that we can do it over here as well, because it could lead to all sorts of things, Ryan. It's bigger than Ben-Hur.
Why do they tour it? My understanding is they haven't actually been overseas since the 80s or early 90s with this. It's been in different states of Australia, but within Australia. Do they tour it because we pay them money, or does it give the sport exposure, or a bit of both?
You're dealing with Australians. There's money being paid. Don't worry about that.
But also,
those blokes.
What's that?
They wouldn't shout of a shark, but them those blokes.
Lowy, do you think that, in terms of the profile it'll give rugby league here in New Zealand as well? I mean, even that kind of rubbing off.
Oh, without any doubt. I mean, the Warriors, I know they haven't got the main prize yet, but the Warriors have changed. They've really changed the psyche of sport here in New Zealand. They've done a fantastic job. Week in, week out, and really captured the public's imagination. The ground's probably sold out for this year already, so that's very unusual with sport here in New Zealand. And really, the State of Origin is the jewel in the crown of Australian sport.
And you're a jewel in the crown of New Zealand, Sir Graham. Great to have you on the program this morning. Excellent news all round. Thanks very much for being with us.
And don't forget this. Don't forget Queensland. That's what Auckland can be, Queenslanders.
That was Sir Graham Lowe, friend of the program, on the show early this morning, reacting to news that the State of Origin is coming to Eden Park next year. Right, 3 minutes away from 9. Time to talk business, thanks to our partners Forsyth Bar. We've had 3 big local players post half-year results in the last half hour. Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business, is across it. Garth, starting with Contact Energy, a trading halt this morning.
Yeah, because they've just announced, or confirmed rather, reports that were popping up from across the Tasman last night that they are talking to fund managers about a $525 million equity raise, mostly through a sort of a large placement there. And they want to look basically at bringing into being their plans that they announced end of last year around new generation, mostly I think battery and wind and some solar and a bit of geothermal as well. So there's basically forward planning for about 1.65 terawatt hours of electricity, which is about half the committed new demand that's supposed to be coming out of the economy in the next few years, and perhaps a third of what could happen. So they're looking at basically taking a lead in battery as a main thing. They've got a project near Glenbrook where they want to try and locate a lot of batteries power storage quite close to Auckland, and particularly the industrial part of the southern part of Auckland, so that there's a bit of security of supply there. So that's a big deal. Obviously put the trading hold on because now that information's out there. But otherwise a pretty good result for them. 209 million, I think the net profit was up. That's a big jump up on the comparable period in the first half of last year, but that's largely because they acquired Manawa Energy, which has a lot of hydro, and that sort of juiced that result a little bit. And of course, coming off the back of 2024, the gas catastrophe, when things were bad, they took some losses, I think, on having to sell stuff at different prices to Methanex. So quite a big turnaround, but it'd be interesting to see what people make of that capital raise, because there was talk that Genesis was maybe going to place one, so they seem to have been first out of the block saying, show us the money, show us the Show us
the money, we'll give you some equity.
Yeah.
Freightways, bit of a bellwether for the economy, usually their result. What have they said?
They've done well as well. So their group revenue increased 8.5%, and their net profit is up 17.2% to 52 million. So they are basically just seeing revenue growth in their express and business mail, which is a good sign that stuff is moving around the network and so on. So I guess that's a strong result for them. They've successfully completed an acquisition over in Australia as well. So that's
great. And we have about 2 seconds, Garth. A2 Milk.
Good news. Yep, up. Good numbers. Good
Fantastic.
Numbers for English label.
Garth, good to see you as always. Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business. That's thanks to our partners Forsyth Bar. It is 9 o'clock. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe out there if you are affected by the weather. A special shout out to Thomas Coughlin, who is watching at home this morning, doing not much else, trapped by some power lines. Appreciate your feedback and all your emails. We'll see you tomorrow from 7.